welcome to the Collegiate iRacing League tonight for the Grand Prix of the Netherlands from Zandvoort in the Netherlands. We are here tonight for the College Prototype Challenge, the 9th race of the season out of 14, and as we get closer to the end of the season, the battle for points only gets more fierce and the competition only gets tighter. We got a 45-minute race tonight around this track. I am Sky Shrek from the University of Oklahoma, and I will be the commentator for tonight for the Dutch Grand Prix. We're going through qualifying right now. These drivers trying to set their lap times, get the best lap times they can to get themselves further up on the grid for this race at a track that is one that has a lot of overtaking opportunities. It's one where even if you start a little further back, you know, you're able to make your way back up to the front with all these very flowy corners. It's Alexander Diamond making his qualifying lap right now in that Drexel University car. Heading around here into that final sector of the track. On board with him as he makes his qualifying run. Well, this track only recently revamped by iRacing to the new layout. Only about a year or so ago did this track get updated to a brand new layout, and you're seeing that here tonight. Alexander Diamond gonna head down into the big banked corner here, kind of the most famous part of the racetrack. This turn 13, 14, more like something we'd see in the College Cup Series than something we'd see in the prototypes. He goes pretty wide there, but he's keeping it right on that inside line, and he comes straight out of the banked corner. Let's see what lap he sets. Alif is the fastest of the three cars who've run so far, and Alexander Diamond will slot into third of the three behind Alif. Now Cale Davidson and Lucas Moody as he heads down into turn 2 and 3. Very tight hairpin here. It's very easy to catch you out. Bradley Skinker, one of 4 Ball State cars in the field, finishing his qualifying lap up right now. We'll see how that goes for him. He's had a pretty up and down season. He'll be looking to have a good day today, try and join his teammates up there, but for right now, he is going to sit 5th behind Alexander Diamond and ahead of St. Clair's Adrian Tubakovic on their qualifying laps. Ball State almost hit by a tornado about an hour ago, but that has not stopped him. They are here for the CIL regardless, and they're going to try and win this race tonight. With no Jordan Johnson in the field, that might leave the door wide open for our Muhammad Alif to finally get his first win in the College Prototype Challenge. We're watching him head down here through turn 7 into turn 8. It's a very fast, flowing, technical set of corners. A lot of medium speed, high speed corners on this racetrack, but still a pretty fun track that still allows for a good bit of passing. It's going to head through here. It's always one of the more entertaining tracks, I think, on the F1 schedule as well, not just in the College Prototype Challenge. He'll head down to the final chicane section before coming back out through the banked corner onto the front straightaway to complete his next lap at speed. I believe this will be his second and final lap in his qualifying session here. Through the big banked corner, we'll see what he's able to do. Coming down the straightaway now, Bradley Skinker will set a 2.1 back from Alif, so that'll put him up 1 spot. He's going to pass Andrew Burrell, puts him into provisional 6th out of the 14 cars we have tonight. It's Luis Diaz from FIU heading through that final corner now. Not a section I think we see on really any racetrack that we run in this series. It's all road courses, so you don't get those banked corners very often. Bit of a throwback for the guys who ran the College Cup Series race on Monday from Phoenix. Luis Diaz will put himself 4th on the board right now, right behind the trifecta of Ball State cars at the top, and right ahead of Drexel's Alexander Diamond, trying to position himself as one of the main threats to that Ball State train. I don't want to say it's been Ball State dominance because Jordan Johnson won the first 7 races of the season, but he's not here tonight. So the window is wide open for someone to steal the win. We saw Athena Leclerc get a massive underdog win last week in the rain at Watkins Glen. How's that going to shake out here? We'll find out. We're watching Athena Leclerc, last week's winner. It was a crazy race last week. We saw 16 entrants, of which only 4 of them actually managed to finish the race. Athena Leclerc won by a full lap. I believe it was 1 minute and 50 seconds, the biggest win in CIL history, and it was mostly just by virtue of not crashing the car into the wall that she got that win last night, but she kept it steady. She got it done. And right now, in her attempt to run it back for the 2nd week in a row, she is currently sitting last on this qualifying grid, only ahead of 2 cars who have not made laps yet, Alan Hong, her teammate, and Esteban Munoz from Florida International. So she'll come around here to complete the lap, trying to move herself ahead of her teammate there in Tubakovic, maybe Alex Hallinar from Binghamton as well. We'll see if she's able to improve on that lap time. She will, but it's not a lot. Sends it into the wall there in frustration after the qualifying session. Will put her last provisionally on the grid. 2 cars left, still circling, making laps. It's Mark Turek from the Penn College of Technology coming around to set one right now for that car. We'll see where he shakes out here. Sends it into the wall as well, but he'll pass Aiken Lamar there, so he will round it out 8th, and now we're going to watch the part-time driver, Binghamton's Alex Hallinar, make his final lap around the racetrack here for qualifying. Only a couple turns to go, 3 more to go here. Through a very fun little chicane section, a quick little right-hander into a little bit of banking there through that turn 12 hairpin before you come down to turns 13 and 14, which are 2 separate corners, but feel like they function almost as one big one, especially in these prototype cars. So he'll come around to try and improve his lap time here from 11th. And he will not get anything there. So he'll start 11th for tonight's race, only ahead of St. Clair's Athena Leclerc, Alan Hong, and Esteban Munoz. Have not set laps, so we will see if they end up starting the race or not. It's going to continue around here, down that straightaway. He's going to try and see if he can get a lap in here before that clock hits 0 on this practice session. He's definitely sending it. Let's see. And he will take it off there. All right. So that'll be the end of Alex Hallinar's lap, and now he's just going to be out here for practice. Our Muhammad Alif also coming back out on the track for a little extra practice with 45 seconds left in the session. He's got the pole position locked up for tonight's race. He will be our pole sitter for tonight. Going all the way wide through the high banks of turn 3, a very similar to the final corner on this racetrack, a very unique corner in road racing. More akin to something you'd see at like Bristol, where the College Cup Series will be on Monday. But he'll head around to get some practice laps in. Now he's looking to be the fastest driver in the grid tonight, on pole by a full second over his Ball State teammate Lucas Moody and Cale Davidson, with Jordan Johnson not in this race tonight. And qualifying will finish out here, and we'll get those results on you for the screen. We'll get those results for you on the screen here shortly for that qualifying session as we head into a quick 5-minute warm-up before our race tonight. And here is your qualifying order. And on pole, it is our Muhammad Alif from Ball State University, and he's joined by his teammates. Lucas Moody will round it out in 2nd, and Cale Davidson will take 3rd. Luis Diaz starts on the 2nd row there in 4th, Florida International University, and Andrew Burrell is 5th from Clemson. Drexel's Alexander Diamond with a good qualifying effort to put himself in 6th, while Bradley Skinker, the 4th Ball State driver in the field, will roll off 7th. Mark Turek will join him on the 4th row from the Penn College of Technology in 8th. Aiken Lamar from the Howard Community College is going to roll off 9th, while Adrian Tubakovic of St. Clair will be 10th. Binghamton's Alex Hallinar had a pretty good result last week and will be 11th, while St. Clair's Athena Leclerc, the winner from last week, will roll off 12th. Esteban Munoz from FIU and Alan Hong of St. Clair, both not setting laps, are set to roll off 13th and 14th tonight. There's your qualifying order for tonight's 45-minute race at Zandvoort in the College Prototype Challenge. It's been a very competitive season, and with our points leader and 7-race winner Jordan Johnson out of the field, tonight is going to be a huge chance for some of these Ball State cars like Muhammad Alif and Lucas Moody to try and catch up on points to make a run at him later on here in the season. Clouds are in the area for this race, but no rain projected at this time, which I'm sure is going to be a big relief for these drivers after the chaos we saw last week. The only rain is in the Ball State Esports complex for tonight. Gonna watch them head around. Here's some of these scenic views of Zandvoort. Bradley Skinker of Ball State heading down through the S's here into turn 6 and 7. Like I said, it's a very fast racetrack as he'll come through 7, heading down towards 8. Turn 9, one of the comparatively slower corners on the track before you get into a very wide hairpin for turn 10 tonight. Leads you on to another straightaway before you head down to a tight left-hand turn 11 that leads immediately into a chicane down here in turn 12. A little bit of banking there as there isn't so many other corners on this racetrack, something that, like I said, really makes it unique. Bradley Skinker will come down through turn 13 onto the very short, almost Indianapolis-like run into turn 14, and that'll take him back out on the front straightaway to complete the lap, with his teammate Muhammad Alif in hot pursuit and Alexander Diamond swerving behind him to warm up the tires. Luis Diaz will come to that final corner. Oh, bit wide there through 13. But he'll get it right back on the apron for 14. Pop up out of that corner and he'll make it work. This track, I feel like those last corners differ from NASCAR. They get compared a lot to NASCAR due to their bank nature, but NASCAR corners, when you're on the high line, it tends to kind of drop down. While on that final corner on this track, and on many corners on this track, instead of dropping down into the corner, you're more kind of rising up to meet it, if anything else. Luis Diaz heading around now towards turn 8 and 9 down here. Cutting through some of that grass. You already see a lot of stripes kind of forming in that grass from cars going a bit wide, clipping a bit of it as they go. Aiken Lamar's riding around right now, a little bit behind that pack of Moody and Diaz. Out wide, cuts back across the track to get the line for the next corner. That'll send him down the straight, or it won't because he'll spin out going through there. Aiken Lamar around through turn 10 there in practice. With 30 seconds left in this warm-up, we're getting ready to send you to the grid here shortly. Alex Hallinar is going to bring it out of the pits for one last little round of practice here before we go green. 19 seconds left. Luis Diaz still on pole. He'll set a lap there. I think that'll actually put him third in this little warm-up session out of the 5 cars who've gone out and set full laps. And we're going to get ready for the grid here tonight. 45 minutes around Zandvoort, a track we don't race at too often in the CIL, so one these drivers aren't going to be particularly used to. Should be a fun one here tonight. As that time runs out, we're getting ready for these drivers to go tonight. I'm going to show you the starting grid one more time here, but as these cars grid up and get ready for tonight's race. On pole, it's going to be Muhammad Alif of Ball State University, and to his outside, it's his teammate Lucas Moody. Cale Davidson, the team combo there, starting third, while Luis Diaz of FIU will roll off fourth. Andrew Burrell from Clemson will go fifth, while Alexander Diamond from Drexel will be sixth. Bradley Skinker from Ball State rolls off 7th, and Mark Turek from the Penn College of Technology will be 8th. In 9th tonight, it's going to be Aiken Lamar of Howard Community College, while 10th will be St. Clair's Adrian Tubakovic. Alex Hallinar will roll off 11th for Binghamton, while last week's winner, Athena LeClaire of St. Clair, will roll off 12th. And the last row tonight is not setting qualifying laps will be Esteban Munoz of FIU and Alan Hong of St. Clair. There's our grid for you tonight. These drivers queuing up right now. Pace car pulling off to send them around for a warm-up lap here around Zandvoort. One car still on the grid there trying to get it rolling. We're watching our Muhammad Ali. He's won no races in the series this year, but he's won a large amount of races in Formula C, and that's been because of the presence of Jordan Johnson in this series, who's kind of ran away with it. He won the first 7 races in a row, but he's not here tonight, and his absence is going to open the door to some of these Ball State drivers. We saw him crash out early on in the race at Watkins Glen last week, leaving it pretty much wide open and allowing Athena Leclerc to sneak out a win. Going to be interesting to see how this plays out for him here tonight. With our Muhammad Ali on pole, will he be able to put some dents in Jordan Johnson's massive points lead? Or will he stay afloat atop the standings in this series? Alif is a really frequent second place finisher. I think we quite often see Johnson Alif 1-2, but Alif was not here to take advantage of Johnson's misfortune last week. He was on spring break, enjoying his vacation, so he's back this week, along with so many of the other Ball State drivers we were missing from the Watkins Glen race. And we'll see how it shakes out for them in their, I guess return to the series after a week vacation. Trying to run over the pace car driver here is our Muhammad Ali. Cars weaving around, getting ready. See Esteban Munoz there taking to the grid in that back row. Not sure if Alan Hong has, but we'll end up seeing. And Adrian Tubakovic of St. Clair, I believe, will be starting from the pits for tonight's race. He was scheduled to roll off 10th. He is currently in the pit lane, so he's going to be starting out the pits, and that's going to give him an immediate disadvantage to start this race. And for a driver who is starting in a points position, that is not ideal tonight. Our pace car driver, Fred, leads him down the straightaway towards turn 11. 10, 12, and that'll take him into that final section where these drivers are going to be let loose out of 14. Pace car driver will pull off, and we are getting ready for the CIL College Prototype Series from Zandvoort tonight. Lucas Moody's going to be second with his teammate, our Muhammad Ali, leading him to pole. Let's see how this shakes out. Our Muhammad Ali is going to be on pole. Lucas Moody, his teammate to his outside, with Cale Davidson and Luis Diaz making up the row behind him for Ball State and FIU, respectively. We're heading through the final corner. They're trying to hold him up here. Our Muhammad Ali behind the pace car, getting ready to go. Pace car is going to pull off as we exit this corner. We're on the straight. Pace car is coming into the pits. The pace car is off. Our Muhammad Ali is going to lead him to the green flag tonight. Heading down the straightaway. He's going to cut him loose. We are green tonight for the College Prototype Challenge at Zandvoort. Our Muhammad Ali leads him down into turn 1. Big move for Cale Davidson around the inside of his teammate, Lucas Moody. He'll take that second spot away, but Moody's going to fight back. Heading down into turn 3, he's not going to get it. Cale Davidson immediately jumping out to steal that second spot tonight. Alexander Diamond up to 5th over Andrew Burrell of Clemson. And now he's going to look to gain some spots on Luis Diaz, who's currently sitting 4th place tonight for Florida International University. Heading down through turn 7 into turn 8. It's the fastest section of the racetrack. A lot of long, flowing corners. Alexander Diamond in the top 5. Great start for him tonight as he tries to make a move. We got side-by-side further back. It's Aiken Lamar of Howard Community College. He'll get passed into the corner by Mark Turek of PCT. But he's going to stay right on that bumper. Esteban Munoz already up multiple spots trying to get something going there, as I believe Athena Leclerc has not taken to the grid and might be out of the race already. her teammate Adrian Tubakovic had that pit lane start. It's interesting to see what's going on there for St. Clair. Alex Hallinar is back there in 11th, the last car in this group, trying to make roads on Esteban Munoz up here, trying to get that position, running as much of that curb as they can through turn 13 and 14 to try and get any time, try and get a better entry into that banked corner, bring more speed in. It's Luis Diaz on the bumper of Lucas Moody there for third. Heading down into turns 3 here, the big banked corner. Moody running a bit more of a high line, while Diaz sends it a bit lower, trying to get a little bit of a shorter distance around the racetrack to make up some time. He'll follow him down here in turns 5 and 6. Now into 7, it's Andrew Burrow on the bumper of Alexander Diamond from Drexel. Within about 0.2 of a second, trying to make that move happen down into turn 8. Not a great passing zone. He won't be able to do it. Huge job under braking there. 2 battles unfolding right next to each other. But a bad run out of the corner from Burrow is going to send him back about half a second there on Diamond, and he'll have to work to make that gap back up, as Luis Diaz is also losing time on Lucas Moody for third, while Alif and Cale Davis and the 2 Ball State cars have pulled away. Diaz is going to be the main car trying to break up this Ball State runaway. They got 1, 2, 3 in the Formula C race last night. They're going to try to do it again, but Luis Diaz is going to try to put a stop to him. Esteban Munoz is back in 9th, working on Mark Turek of the Penn College Technology for position in that Cadillac V Series R prototype car. Bit of a slipstream down the straightaway. Turn 1 is one of the best passing opportunities you're going to get on this racetrack, but Munoz isn't going to get there. Turek is going to make the mistake, and he'll send himself into the wall. Broke too late for the corner, sends it wide, and Mark Turek is off into the gravel. He'll come out 10th due to maybe an accident that took place a little earlier from Aiken Lamar that set him back about 10 seconds there. But now Bradley Skinker is on the bumper of Alexander Diamond, who's gotten passed by Andrew Burrell of Clemson. We'll see what went on there. And Bradley Skinker's up the inside and around Alexander Diamond. He'll have the inside through this corner. Esteban Munoz is going to look to make it a 2-car pass. And he's going to try to get up the inside of both of them. Esteban Munoz from FIU side by side with Bradley Skinker, but Skinker is going to get the spot. Now he's side by side with Diamond, nearly contact off of that turn 10. Heading down the straightaway towards turn 11, you're going to see Alexander Diamond on the outside here with a huge lunge. And that'll take him off the racetrack into the dirt. And the position is going to be won by Esteban Munoz, and he'll fall all the way behind Alex Hallinar there, who's going to move up into 8th. Luis Diaz there in 4th, still trying to make the move happen on Lucas Moody of Ball State, as Aiken Lamar might have had another spin further back. He's already 8 seconds behind Mark Turek, and rapidly falling into the clutches of Adrian Tubakovic, who had to have a pit lane start. We're going to get a replay of Aiken Lamar spinning it out a little earlier here and show you what happened to that car. Helped set him so far back. He'll be coming down here straight away here into the corner. This is turn 10, and he is, or turn 11, right off the racetrack. Tries to get it back on, but he can't. Loops it around, and Aiken Lamar has not had a great start to this race. He's fallen outside of those points positions. 10 of the 12 cars in tonight's race will get points, and he is on the outside of that by about 8.5 seconds right now of Mark Turek from PCT. We're back watching Esteban Munoz, one of 2 big battles going on the track right now. It's him and Bradley Skinker of Ball State, and it's the other FIU and Ball State battle a little ahead of him, Luis Diaz and Lucas Moody. Similar cars, similar paint schemes, different positions on track. They're only separated by Clemson's Andrew Burrell, who's currently running in 5th position. They'll head down here straight away into turns 13 and 14. Esteban Munoz still about 6/10 back. Maybe trying to get a slipstream here through this long final corner. He'll run it right off the apron there, right off the inside line. He'll gain a little bit of time, but it's not going to be enough to make anything happen into turn 1. Closes it up pretty well under braking. We're going to cut back to Luis Diaz and that long-lasting battle that's been going for pretty much the entire race so far as he tries to get Lucas Moody of Ball State. Moody's been running a higher line through that turn 3 than Diaz has. We've seen Diaz drop a little further down the racetrack into there, but it doesn't really seem to be working for him. Moody's had the advantage through that corner pretty much every time. Munoz is still looking for Bradley Skinker in the other big Ball State FIU fight. Skinker flashing the headlights at Andrew Burrell in 5th, but I don't think Burrell's going to move out of the way from him because Burrell's going to join this fight for position as well. He doesn't want to get out of the way, but Skinker's going to be feeling the panic because he doesn't only have to deal with Andrew Burrell, he has to deal with Esteban Munoz right on his bumper, maybe trying to use that slower car of Andrew Burrell to make a move on him. Luis Diaz is back. He's had a pretty good run through 11 and 12, as he's had pretty much every lap so far to try and close that gap on Lucas Moody. Got it down to half a second. We'll see how it goes out of here. He tends to gain a lot of time in that later section of the racetrack, but then he kind of loses it through the beginning section. We've seen him lose a lot of time through like the 3 to 6 section of the track. Turns 3 to 6, he's lost a lot of time on Lucas Moody over these laps. We're back to this 3-car battle that's forming for 5th. It's Andrew Burrell, Bradley Skinker, and Esteban Munoz all sitting about 3 seconds back of that Diaz battle. Munoz has to get off the gas there because he almost runs into the back of Bradley Skinker. Coming out of turn 3, down through the S's. It was a really bad run out for Skinker that cost him a lot of time to Andrew Burrell and has allowed Munoz to be right there, only a little over 2/10 back, heading through turn 9 right now. Still on the bumper. Turn 9, turn 10, this isn't going to be the best passing spot, but if he can get a run out of here down to turn 11, he might be able to make something happen alongside there. Luis Diaz is going to head into that section right now, but he's too far back to make anything happen. Comes through there, still about 0.4 of a second back. As this battle continues to rage behind him, Alex Hallinar of Binghamton is in 8th, trying to slowly insert himself into this fight, about 1.5 seconds back right now. We'll see if he's able to get up there. Join this battle for 5th position brewing between Burrell, Skinker, and Munoz. Bradley Skinker is going to continue to chase him down about 0.3 back, but that's not enough to do anything into turn 1. Esteban Munoz, Skinker, and Burrell all kind of equidistant right now at about 4 to 5/10. Skinker's got a big run up the inside, but he ends up missing the corner into turn 3. Sent it way too late on the inside of Andrew Burrell. Has to check all the way up through 3, and Esteban Munoz has gotten a pretty free overtake off the mistake by Bradley Skinker. He's up into 6, and that's going to give him the chance to attack Andrew Burrell and see if he can make the move that Skinker couldn't so far. Big mistake there from Bradley Skinker. Just sent it too far down into turn 3, and it cost him. Luis Diaz is alongside Lucas Moody for 3rd. They're side by side going into turn 11. It's going to be Moody on the inside of the first corner, but Diaz who's going to get the advantage through the hairpin, and it's going to be Luis Diaz getting the spot. He's going to interrupt the Ball State 1-2-3. Luis Diaz moving into 3rd for Florida International, and he will break the Ball State podium. Big move there for him down the straightaway into turn 11, and now it's Esteban Munoz, his teammate, making a move for 5th up the inside of Andrew Burrell, and he will get it. Power move from Esteban Munoz out of 14 down the straight. So a great showing for this FIU team today. 3rd and 5th right now as Andrew Burrell is going to fall back into the clutches of Ball State's Bradley Skinker, running way more inside than Munoz is, but that's a mistake. I think we've seen that high lane through turn 3 is by far the fastest way to run that corner. And when drivers like Burrell or Moody or Diaz have tried to run the low line, it has not really worked for them. Skinker's going to continue to head around here into turn 8, all over the curbing right there on Andrew Burrell. Try and make something happen. Cars all still fairly tight. That gap from Burrell to Munoz has been cut, or the gap from Munoz to Moody, my bad, has been cut down from about 3.5 to about 1.7 seconds. Munoz rapidly catching that 3rd Ball State car, trying to put himself in 4th. interrupting the Ball State 1-2-4 now with his teammate moving into third. Bradley Skinker gaining a little bit of time under braking into turn 13 there. He'll have a chance to slipstream. He's a little further down than Andrew Burrow is to 14, which will get him some time. He might be able to pull alongside here. He will. Bradley Skinker up the inside of Clemson's Andrew Burrow into turn 1. Still side by side. Burrow fighting back on the outside. Side by side again. They're going to head down to turns 2 and 3 here. Skinker forcing Burrow almost off the track, but Burrow is going to get the spot for now. He will hold 6 as Bradley Skinker will fall under threat from 8th place, Binghamton's Alex Hallinar. Great battle that's still going on here for the 6th position through turns 7 and 8, Skinker and Burrow. Check out Esteban Munoz, who's moved within a second of Lucas Moody. That car is way faster than the Ball State car. He'll be trying to make a move for 4th here, given a couple laps. 2, maybe 3 laps. I think Munoz could be up to that bumper if Lucas Moody trying to make something happen. Put those FIU drivers in 3rd and 4th, respectively, which would be a really good run for them tonight. Still heading around here. Burrow losing time to Bradley Skinker, who's gotten that gap back down. And this is a section of track very slipstream heavy. You see Skinker cutting over the grass to try and get any advantage he can there. Down on the inside. He's a little far back here, 3/10. He's not going to be able to get the slipstream he wants out of 14. Doesn't have the run that he had last time. So for right now, he's going to stay behind Andrew Burrow, using all that curb, trying to make a move happen on that Clemson driver. Down into turn 3, they're both moving up to the top. We've seen more cars try that as this race goes on, and it's proven to be the faster line. I think Burrow might drop all the way back to 8th here fairly soon, and we saw him up in 4th. Munoz has already pulled out a 4-second gap on him, because those FIU cars have really hit on something this race. Not only is Munoz caught all the way up to Lucas Moody, but Diaz has pulled 3 seconds away from him and is trying to make ground on Ball State's Cale Davidson for 2nd. Huge day for these FIU cars. They are fast and they are showing it right now. As Esteban Munoz in 5th is putting pressure on Ball State's Lucas Moody. Down through here into turns 13 and 14. Munoz not close enough down the straight this time. He'll have to keep looking, gonna have to try and find a chance to make something happen. Later on the brakes into turn 1 to try and gain some time, and now Bradley Skinker looking a little to the inside of Andrew Burrow. He's flashing the lights at him. Burrow is really not going to listen to that, as we'll stay going here. Bradley Skinker in 7th, still trying to chase him down. Battle continuing here. Esteban Munoz all over the bumper of Lucas Moody. He'll try to get to the inside, but he can't quite get there. Down through turns 8 and 9 here. And he'll pull up the inside under braking into 9. Bit of contact with Lucas Moody there. Moody's got the inside back through the hairpin into 10. And for now, he'll hold the spot. But Bradley Skinker is trying to force the move. Can't do it there, but he'll sit behind and he'll continue to wait for that opportunity. Moving through 11 and 12. Good run out of 12 for Munoz. We'll see if he's able to get that's going through 13. About equal there with Lucas Moody. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in range here coming out of 14 down the straightaway. You need to be a little closer than that to make this move happen. He'll take a peek, but he's not going to get anywhere. He'll pull right back in the line. Bradley Skinker will pull it out up the inside of Andrew Burrow, and he'll spin the car out. Contact between Andrew Burrow and Bradley Skinker. He got a little too aggressive. Slides into the outside of Andrew Burrow, and he will send it around through turn 1. Bradley Skinker dropping back to 8th, 3 seconds off Alex Hallinar in 7th. As Lucas Moody still under threat from Esteban Munoz, who's going to get up the inside here. He'll take a look. He still won't get there. Same section of the track he was trying to make a move at happen last time, and he'll do it again here. Through turn 9, it's Esteban Munoz up the inside of Lucas Moody. He'll have it back here through turn 10, the hairpin. He is going to start to pull away. Esteban Munoz into 4th over Lucas Moody. Huge move for that car. And we'll see if he can get away. He caught him really quick. Will he be able to get away? He won't be able to get away. He cuts the chicane. Lucas Moody is going to pull right back up to the outside. Munoz is going to hold the spot, but I have to imagine iRacing is going to give him a slowdown penalty there that might make him give the spot back in exchange for cutting part of that chicane. We'll see how that goes. Through turn 1 for this battle. Moody slowly starting to lose that time on Esteban Munoz. Munoz is going to run away for 4th in pursuit of his teammate Luis Diaz, currently running 3rd. For 5th, and he is dropping back rapidly. We're going to get a replay of Bradley Skinker's spin into the inside of Andrew Burrell here just a couple laps ago. This is going to be heading down into turn 1. We're going to get another chance to look at that replay here. Bradley Skinker up the inside of Burrell. Yep, just slides it a little too fast in there. Slides it into the inside, the right rear of Andrew Burrell, and sends it around. And that is a costly mistake there from Bradley Skinker. I'm just glad Burrell wasn't really caught up in that as well. Burrell held it on, and oh, Burrell's just crashed as I say that. That is live. Andrew Burrell has crashed into the wall. The commentator's curse strikes again in the CPC. Andrew Burrell out of the race with 26 minutes left to go. As I mentioned him. Woo, we're going to get a replay of that. This is out of turn 11, I believe. Out of turn 12 for Burrell. Gets it on the curb, spins it out head on into the tire barrier. Disaster for that Clemson car, and that'll likely take him out of the race tonight. Wow. We like to joke about the commentator's curse here in the CPC very frequently. We saw it happen about 4 separate times in the rain last week at Watkins Glen. Popped up a couple times at Indy. We've seen it a lot this season. There you go. Sorry, Andrew. I talk about him. I talk about how we're glad he hasn't crashed, and we cut back to live where he has immediately crashed. That has moved Adrian Tubakovic, who's currently running a distant 10th, up into that final points position, trying to get 1 point out of the race as the only St. Clair car in the field for tonight. It's also promoted Alex Hallinar up to 6th, 4 seconds back of Lucas Moody for that Ball State car. Muhammad Alif, our race leader, has pulled out a 13-second gap over his teammate Cale Davidson, looking to get his first win in the College Prototype Challenge. And with every other driver who's won a race this season not in the grid tonight, it looks like a perfect opportunity for him to get that done. 13 seconds ahead of his teammate and pulling away from that car. We're going to see a pit stop at some point this race that we know these cars cannot make it the full way on fuel. It's likely to be a fuel-only pit stop. I doubt we're going to see any tires taken in that stop, but still important to get that right. You ask Edwin Onofre from a couple races this season, you do not want to get a pit road penalty because it can completely take you out of contention. And with 24 minutes to go as we approach halfway in this College Prototype Challenge race, we're going to let the engines roar and we'll crank it up. And we will be back with you here in a couple minutes from CIL. here from Zandvoort. We are back from the break, and we are watching green flag pit stops happen for many of our contenders tonight. Esteban Munoz and Bradley Skinker in the pit lane right now, making their green flag pit stops. And Esteban Munoz is actually in a crash while we were away, so we're going to check that out now. We'll see what happened to Esteban Munoz there. I have not seen this. He is going through this. This is the same section that's caught everybody else out. Gets it on the apron, and that is the exact same crash that Andrew Burrell had just 2 laps ago. Same section of track coming out of turn 12 onto the straightaway, and Esteban Munoz has done the same thing Burrell's did. He's got it too far out on the curb, got it loose, and head on into that tire barrier. With Aiken Lamar actually up into the final points position as the 10th car and final car, I believe, still running in this race. Skinker and Lamar the only car to make pit stops so far. Tubakovic will have to make one here shortly. Perek, Diamond, Hallinar all running ahead of him. Haven't made that stop yet. As Leaf and Davidson continue to pull away from this race over 3rd place, Luis Diaz. Alex Hallinar running 5th through turn 6 into turn 7 and 8 down here. He is running 3 seconds back of Lucas Moody as Mark Turek from PCT is going to make his green flag pit stop. He's the 2nd car to come down there. So he'll pull that out from 7th. We'll see where he cycles out. I believe he's going to cycle out in between Skinker and Tubakovic here. In that 8th spot right now. None of these should be tire stops. These should all be fuel-only pit stops. Haven't seen a lot of tires getting taken at any track in this series, and I can't imagine Zandvoort making it. That final corner, Cale Davidson, our next car, pitting from 2nd place. You see how far that gap is from our Muhammad Alif to 3rd place, Luis Diaz. Gap's up to 24 seconds. Cale Davidson is in that 2nd place position, and he'll get back there once his pit stop cycle goes back around. But for now, while he's still in that pit lane, it's going to promote Hallinar and Moody, potentially Alexander Diamond up the field as well. We're watching Adrian Tubakovic go around in 9th right now, the only St. Clair car in the field for tonight's race. Running 2 seconds back of Martin Turek, but he's not made a pit stop yet, and he's just gone off through turn 9, which is not going to help his case at all. Turek heading down the straightaway here into turns 11 and 12. This is the section of the track we've seen so many drivers get caught out by that outer curbing. We've seen a couple of them go spinning into the wall down there now. They're still going for now. That final corner back down the front straightaway here. Into turn 1. We're back on with Alexander Diamond here through turns 13 to 14. And he'll put in the pit lane here. He'll be the next driver to make his green flag pit stop, running 5th. He'll likely fall behind, I believe, Cale Davidson and probably Bradley Skinker here. It'll put him out, should spit him out 7th ahead of Mark Turek if he comes out in the same situation that he went in. We'll see how that goes. Skinker's getting wide there. He's playing with fire because we've seen multiple cars do that exact same thing in that exact spot and spin the car out. You also see those tire marks in the outside of 13. Cars playing it a little wide through there. Skinker's going to come around. We'll see where Alexander Diamond leaves the pits, but it will be behind Bradley Skinker. Not by too much, though. He seems to have maybe gained a little ground there. coming out only about 3 seconds back. Closer than I believe he was before on Bradley Skanker. Bit of an issue from Mark Current, I believe. Bradley Skanker there is the 6th heading around. Down to turn 10 here. We're watching Luis Diaz. Currently running 2nd right now. My bad. He's got a 8th place Mark Turek, the lap car behind him. Heading through turns 9 and 10. Not a lot of super close battles right now, but we're in the middle of this pit cycle. Waiting to see if maybe something might happen there on pit road that could alter the outcome of this race in a major way, as we've seen a couple other times this season. Muhammad Ali has not hit yet, along with Luis Diaz, who we're currently watching run in 2nd. Lucas Moody of State currently in 3rd, and Halinar, Binghamton. All 4 drivers who have not hit yet, and Diaz is going to come down right now, so he'll make that pit stop right now for 2nd place, as Aiken Lamar is all over the bumper of a car he is not on the... Oh, no, it is a car on the same lap as well. Adrian Kubakovic, sorry. Track map is showing that it's Halinar, but it's Adrian Tubakovic, so this is 4th position, although Tubakovic has not hit yet. So that'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Halinar has actually gone off in front of him, so Aiken Lamar is going to have to take the spot, and Tubakovic is going to have to swerve to avoid hitting Alex Halinar as he comes back from the track. Halinar is, I believe, yes, he's a lap ahead of these cars. Lamar has pit. Tubakovic and Halinar both have not pit, but Halinar is a lap ahead of both cars in that battle right now. As we're watching Cale Davidson, who will come out of the pits back ahead of Luis Diaz. But again, not as much as where he went in. When when Davidson went into the pits, he was only about 6 or so seconds behind Cale Davidson. He's come out and he's only 2.5 seconds. So a little bit of a lockup there to 3, but he's in a much better position to try and challenge for what will cycle around to be the 2nd position on Cale Davidson. Going to get an interview from one of our crashed out drivers tonight. It'll be Esteban. Hey Esteban, welcome to the booth.
Hey guys, what's up?
I'm taking it as a very disappointing end to your night there to crash in that way when you were running really strong.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. You know, I didn't have a really good qualifying, started dead last, but I was making my way through the field relatively easy. I was on my way to hunt down my own teammate, but fortunately got in the curb a little bit too much, bottomed out, went straight into the wall. It kind of ended my night. But overall, just happy with how we're doing. I see my teammates battling really hard for that podium spot, so just keep watching him and see how he's doing.
Yeah, your teammate, I believe, is running 3rd right now, trying to make the move on Cale Davidson. You've seen the FIU cars really come out strong. Did y'all practice this track, or did y'all hit on the setup or something for this race?
Funny enough, I didn't think either me or Lewis was going to do this race tonight until maybe around probably 45 to an hour before the race even the race even started. I called him up asking him if he was like, hey, he was down to do it, because we were going to lead to a Sebring tomorrow, and he's like, yeah, let's not do it. And I think it came down to just mostly hitting it right on the setup. We were really fast during the race. Yeah, so it's pretty much how it went. It was last-minute decision, but I'm glad it worked out.
And do you have anyone that you want to shout out tonight on the broadcast?
I want to shout out Panther Esports for their support. Program's working really, really well. Hopefully it'll grow in the future. Just shout out you guys for putting this on. And yeah, hopefully my team can pull through.
All right. Thank you, Esteban Munoz. Sorry about the DNF.
All right, guys. Take care.
So we're back here watching his teammate go around, Luis Diaz, currently running 3rd, 3.5 seconds back of Ball State's Cale Davidson, who is running 2nd, 32.5 seconds back of his teammate and racing leader, Muhammad Ali, who has absolutely pulled away from this race so far. 32 seconds in the lead. It may surprise you given that lead, but this is going to be his first ever win in the College Prototype Challenge. The lack of Jordan Johnson means Jordan Johnson isn't here to take it. Athena Leclerc, who we saw steal one in the rain at Watkins Glen last week, isn't here to take it. A lot of the drivers who did well in that race, like Zach DeWale, aren't here. So it's Muhammad Ali, who's finished runner-up in most of the races this season. He's going to finally get a chance to put his name in the win column with 10 minutes to go in this race to get his first win in the College Prototype Challenge to try to claw back the points deficit from Jordan Johnson, especially with him not here tonight. Luis Diaz is gaining on Cale Davidson there in third. He's pulled about a second in the last minute or so. Very quick from that Florida International car. We're just talking to his teammate. He said he thought they hit on the setup really well. You see it's working for him here. He's already interrupting the Ball State podium, being the one car wedged in between Davidson in second and Moody currently running fourth, but he wants that runner-up position. There's a pretty good chance he can get it here if he can keep making time up on Cale Davidson in second. A lot of spread out cars. I mean, you see Luis Diaz is about 2.3 back in closing on Cale Davidson. Cyclist second has cycled around. Moody's 5 seconds back of Diaz for fourth position. Alex Hallinan and Binghamton is 8 seconds back there. Bradley Skinker 10 seconds back of Hallinan and Alex Diamond 11 seconds back of Skinker. Turek 8th, Lamar 9th, and Adrian Tubakovic, who I believe is at some kind of incident, running 10th there. And Mark Turek has just had a spin in turn 12, I believe. He dropped a lot of time there. Name flashing yellow on the track map we have that signals the crash. So we'll see if we maybe get a replay on that. Mark Turek's spin. This is going to be in that area. We've seen a lot of cars lose it. Turn 11, turn 12, the hardest part of this racetrack. And he loops it around kind of through the apex of 12, which is not the spot that we've seen a lot of drivers crash in that corner. But he'll get it out. No damage, no harm done, really. He holds his position. He'll stay in 8th and he'll drive it away. We've seen a lot of cars there either spin out on entry, send it too deep and lose it on entry, or spin it out on exit and go head on into that tire barrier there that's against the inside wall of the exit. Well, Luis Diaz has pulled the gap from Cale Davidson down from about 2.5 seconds to 1.5 seconds and closing just over the last 2 minutes. As they head through turns 8 and 9, that gap continues to come down. Luis Diaz making a play for second place this race, which would be, I believe, his best result in this series. And a result that, while his teammate might not have gotten the race that he wanted, Esteban Munoz could go really well for Luis Diaz here. Get that team some big points for Florida International University. 1.5 seconds is the gap, and it's come down from 3.5 after the pit stop. So he's definitely got the speed to close this gap with 7 minutes left in the race. Does he have enough time to get up there to Lucas Moody, close this gap, and make the pass happen? Back down into turn 1. He's going to close it a little. He's got it down to 1.2. Heading through the S's, turns 4, 5, 6. Still hovering around 1.2 seconds. We head under 6.5 minutes left in this race. Muhammad Ali is gone. As long as he doesn't crash that car, his race is a formality at this point. And the real battle is going to be for the second position between his teammate Cale Davidson and the rapidly approaching Luis Diaz from Florida International, who's now got that gap down under 0.8 of a second. He is going to be there. We're going to head into turns 11 and 12. what has been by far the hardest part of this racetrack for all these drivers tonight. And he'll gain a little bit of ground down into the hairpin, and a good run off is going to put him under 7/10 of a second here from Cale Davidson. 13, seeing this all through his onboard. Showing 5 laps to go for Muhammad Alif, and Diaz gets a good run out of the corner. He'll get a little bit of slipstream down the straight, and that'll put him just a little bit closer to Cale Davidson as he gets that gap down. Around half a second there out of turn 1. He is there. So the top side, but he loses ground, losing a lot of ground in turn 3. The gap goes from 4/10 all the way up to 9/10. Huge corner from Cale Davidson there. We'll see if he can get that gap down, but it's all the way back over a second, and that undoes pretty much all the progress that Luis Diaz had made up over the last lap or so. And it's going to leave him with all to do with 5 to go to catch Cale Davidson. Go as our leader, our Muhammad Alif, has taken the line. And you're seeing these cars. Our Muhammad Alif is going through turn 3. Second place Cale Davidson is only exiting turn 12 right now, which shows you the massive gap in between these cars. But Diaz hasn't really closed the gap back up. A bad turn 3, a below average lap, and Luis Diaz has let that gap to Cale Davidson about 4/10 all the way up to over a second now. But another bad run through turn 3. That's kind of been his kryptonite the last couple laps. He loses several tenths on Davidson there pretty much every lap. And these last couple laps, he's been struggling to close it back up. There he goes. He's got it back under a second here with a good run down through 7 and 8. Big runs through the middle sector of this track. He'll get it all the way down to 6/10. Huge gain by Luis Diaz there to try and take back some of what Davidson was able to get away from him. Alif makes it 3 to go, 35 seconds ahead. That gap's half a second. Diaz with a big lap this time around to close the gap up. Davidson, you see the grass on the curb there in turn 13 from where cars are going under to try and get an advantage. And Diaz is close. 2.5 tenths back. And he's going to try and send it on the outside into turn 1. Huge move from Luis Diaz. Side by side. Super late on the brakes, but he makes it work. They're going to be side by side into turn 2. He'll get the inside into turn 3, which is honestly not the preferred line. And Davidson's going to get away for now. That might be the only corner on the racetrack where you want the outside lane. And Davidson had it, and it got him a gap over Moody. All the grass goes flying onto the track there as Cale Davidson just takes a little bit of it, a little bit under the racetrack there to try and get some time. Back through 9 and 10 now. Diaz still looking on Davidson. This middle sector of the track has been where he's best, and Davidson goes really wide, allowing for a lot of gain to be made by Diaz. Picked up about 1/10.5 there, but he's going to lose it back down the straight. Into 11 and 12, where we've seen so many mistakes get made from so many drivers this race. Both of these two will get it through clean, and they're going to come through 13 and 14 to take it to 2 laps to go. This battle in this race tonight. Davidson, you see, using that grass, sending it up onto the curb. A lot of grass on some of these inside lanes for these cars, who have been getting a little creative with those right and left front tires to try and make some ground up in some of these corners. They're going to use every bit of the racetrack they can. Cale Davidson still through. This is where Diaz needs to make ground. We've seen him lose it a lot. And it's a good corner from Luis Diaz. Finally able to gain some time on Cale Davidson, through turn 3, and that'll recoup a lot of where he lost it the last couple laps. Even just holding that gap steady is a little bit of a win, considering how much time Diaz has been losing through turn 3 over the last couple laps. They're coming up on a lap car right here. That is Aiken Lamar of Howard Community College. The lap car in 9th might play a role in this fight. Diaz is a little wide. He's going to cut it back to the inside. Aiken Lamar will pull off into the grass to let this battle go through as we head down into 11 and 12. Diaz is still there, half a second back, and a bad run through there is going to cost him a little bit of time. He drops about a 10th back from Davidson. He'll gain some time through 13, and he get a good run down into turn 1. Let's see how this goes. White flag is in the air for both our leader, Muhammad Alif, and this battle for second between Davidson and Diaz. He's got it down to 0.3 of a second. Davidson good on the brakes. Diaz is late, though. He's going to get all over the bumper of that car. 0.3 of a second right now for Luis Diaz and Cale Davidson in this battle for second place. The preferred line is 7. They're both on it. Diaz is going to have another bad run out of turn 3, though, in the most inopportune time. Aiken Lamar is spun out behind him. We're not worried about that. Diaz is 3rd, and he's losing time through what has traditionally been maybe his best section of this racetrack. There he goes. A bad corner for Davidson is all he needs. He's right back up on the bumper, heading through turns 8 and 9. Muhammad Alif has crossed the line. He'll win our race tonight, but our attention is still on the battle for second. Davidson gets away down the straightaway, turn 11. Coming up now, he's only got a couple more chances to make something happen all the way over that inside line. He's slower out of the corner, though. We'll see how this goes, but he might be too far back. At turn 14, he's not going to get there. He's too far back down the straightaway. One more lap, and he might have gotten him, but it's going to be Cale Davidson who takes second in a close battle over Luis Diaz from FIU. Muhammad Alif is our race winner tonight. Moody is going to come across the line here to take 4th. 2 more cars on the lead lap will be behind him. It's going to be Alex Hallinar from Binghamton coming around for 5th. And I believe he'll be the alumni winner for tonight as well. Bradley Skinker will come around the last car on the lead lap, and the last of the state cars in the field. It's still a pretty good 6th place position here tonight. That'll finish off our Dutch Grand Prix in the Collegiate iRacing League's College Prototype Challenge from Zandvoort. We'll try and get that pulled up for you, the results pulled up for you here. Muhammad Alif, our race winner tonight for Ball State, while his teammate Cale Davidson will bring it home in 2nd. Luis Diaz of FIU will finish 3rd, while Lucas Moody from Ball State, 3 Ball State cars in the top 4, he'll be 4th. Alex Hallinar from Binghamton will take 5th and our alumni win for tonight, while Bradley Skinker, also of Ball State, will finish 6th. Alexander Diamond of Drexel with a solid 7th place, while the other Pennsylvania car in the field, Mark Turek, will finish 8th for PCT. Aiken Lamar, Howard Community College, will be 9th, while Adrian Tubakovic of St. Clair will finish 10th. And rounding out our field for tonight, in 11th place, it's Esteban Munoz of FIU, and in 12th, it's Andrew Burrell of Clemson, who we both saw crash out going through turn 12, while Athena Leclerc and Alan Hong, both of St. Clair, did not take the grid for tonight's race. So we're going to work on getting these finishers in the booth for you here for an interview. We're working on that right now, getting that set up for you. And first, we're going to interview our 3rd place finisher for tonight. We are going to interview Lucas Moody or Cale Davidson of Ball State. Oh, my bad. Luis Diaz of FIU. We'll be calling into the booth as our 3rd place finisher for tonight. How's it going, Luis?
I'm doing good. I'm a little sweaty, but yeah, we're all good.
We saw that really intense fight there. Walk us through that, because that was a really fun battle we got to watch between you and Cale Davidson.
Yeah, so first stint, I had to pass a couple cars, so I think the gap built up to probably like 8 seconds, 7 seconds. So I was just trying to focus on just closing that gap. Once I saw he pitted early, I just started using on my battery and just tried to pump out some fast laps. When I got out of the pits, I think I came out probably like 2 seconds behind him. After that, I was
Roughly
just trying to get my tires warm and try to catch him, but I just couldn't get the move done.
Yeah, it was a really intense battle. We saw, we're talking to your teammate Esteban Munoz after he crashed out early, and he said he thought you guys brought a really good setup to this race. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, the setup for this race is definitely it was really good. Even with old tires, it wasn't very sketchy. So yeah, I think the setup was definitely on point this race.
Got anyone you want to shout out on the broadcast? Anyone you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank my teammate Esteban, FIU Esports, and all of FIU in general, and CIL for sure. You guys always put up a great broadcast.
All right, thank you, Luis Diaz, and congrats on your third place finish tonight.
Thank you.
We are gonna get ready to call into the booth here our second place finisher for tonight's race. Ball State's Cale Davidson. Hello.
Hello.
We saw a really good fight there between you and Luis Diaz for that second spot. Really, the entire last 5 or 6 laps. Walk us through that because that was really fun to watch.
Y- Essentially, I am sweating from that. He definitely had pace at the beginning because I noticed everyone else was kind of dropping. Everyone else was kind of dropping. Sorry, our casters are going again. Um, but yeah, everyone else was kind of like dropping back, but I just saw Louis was just staying directly at that time, and I'm like, okay, well, the Porsche eats front tires, so I'm like, I know I needed to pit for tires, and I had enough of a gap, but then on my out lap, I went off twice and lost like 5 seconds on there. So then essentially when he pitted, that put us both right out next to each other, and that was definitely some of the most fun racing. He definitely pushed me, but oh my, I was just trying to hold on to the car for dear life there. I was struggling. I was making mistake after mistake, but I don't know. I feel like there were a couple of times where I definitely was slower with pace, like braking, he was definitely a lot better, but like through like corner exit, my car was faster. So like I kind of felt bad because I was like holding him up going into braking, and I don't know. It was interesting. It was definitely tough, but he really pushed me there.
We know you're on the different car, I believe, to some of the other Ball State teammates. Do you think that really plays a role in some of these races and some of these battles?
Oh, it definitely does. There, because Bradley and I were talking on comms because Bradley's on the Porsche. We're running the same setup, and we're like, like I need to pit now. Like I have no tires. Like we're just struggling out there trying to keep the car together. And then you have Lucas and Bradley that are on the same car, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're not taking tires, right? You're just staying out." And it's like Bradley and I are struggling, and they're having a smooth sail, but I don't know. It definitely plays a role. We just need to find that balance better for this track.
And one last thing, how was the tornado?
Um, well, I know that since my mom's watching now, I'll send her a picture of us tornado chasers. We went outside. I hope you're really proud of me, Mom. And I know Dad. We've stood on the front porch watching tornadoes. So, but sadly, we went outside and couldn't see it. So, kind of a letdown there. But no, we're all safe. So that's all that matters.
Congrats on the second place tonight, Cale Davidson.
Thank
You
you.
got anyone you want to shout out on the broadcast?
Yeah. Shout out my mom, Dad, all my teammates here. Leaf, Bradley Lucas, and then our esports director, Dan Marino and BK, and then my grandma and grandpa, and Andy Hoodrath for sponsoring the car.
Once again, congrats, Cale Davidson.
Thank you.
All right, and we're going to work on getting our first place finisher, first time winner in the CPC, our Muhammad Alif, up into the booth here shortly.
Hi, Leaf. Bye bye.
Hi, Alif. Congrats on the win tonight. It's your first win in the College Prototype Challenge. How does that feel?
Yeah, feels good. Yeah, would have. Yeah, the race was pretty interesting, I'd say, with the caddy, but it was very fun to drive. Always like Zandvoort to drive just because it's pretty technical. Uh, yeah, Ball State won too. At the CPC, so very happy with that.
I talked to Cale, and we talked about kind of like the difference in cars on the Ball State team, and how it kind of affects things in these races. What's your kind of side of that? I just want to hear it.
I don't know, because I haven't. I mean, I don't think it's fair to comment on that just because I haven't really driven much of the Porsche to know. But I trust Kale and both Kale and Bradley. They were experiencing similar issues with the tires, but I think me and Lucas we kept the tires in good conditions very well. So yeah, yeah, just happy with that and happy with the 1-2, and yeah.
Yeah, does it kind of like build confidence going into these next couple races now that you finally got that first win down?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just kind of looking forward to when Jordan comes back. I don't know why he didn't show up today, but yeah, it would have been nicer if I could have won against him on track. But yeah, we'll see. Um, yeah, but doesn't feel like a proper win yet. So yeah,
Gotcha. All right. Anyone you want to shout out on the broadcast tonight?
yeah. All my teammates, Kale, Bradley, and Lucas, our Oval team as well, especially as well as our directors, Dan Marino, BK, and Dean Turner, and my family back in Singapore.
Congrats on your first win in the CPC, R. Muhammad Alif.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we're going to try and pull those results up for you one more time here. A really fun, entertaining race around Zandvoort tonight for these cars. Saw a lot of close battles, saw a really intense battle for second there towards the end of that race. Really exciting time. We're going to get these results one more time. R. Muhammad Alif, you heard from him, your race winner for tonight, along with Cale Davidson, his teammate in the Porsche, and Luis Diaz from FIU. Lucas Moody will finish 4th tonight, and Alex Hallinar from Binghamton is 5th. Bradley Skanker, the 4th Ball State car in the field, is 6th, with Alexander Diamond from Drexel in 7th. Mark Turek will finish 8th, while Aiken Lamar from Howard Community College will be 9th. Adrian Tubakovic of St. Clair will finish 10th. Esteban Munoz of FIU is going to finish this race in 11th. And in 12th place, rounding out our field tonight, is Clemson's Andrew Burrell with Leclerc and Hong from St. Clair both not taking the grid. So really fun night of racing here in the CIO, but we've got more coming your way here over the next week. Monday, the Cup Series will travel to Bristol for what is always a fun race in the Cup Series. If you want to watch about 20 cautions happen, make sure you tune into the College Cup Series at Bristol. It's going to be the Leg Dog 150 presented by Robert Morris University iRacing. They're going to have Robert Morris University has taken the sponsorship of that race, so they're going to be having some fun out at Bristol March 18th. At 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Our Formula College Series will head out to Spain. We're going to Barcelona on March 20th, same time for the Spanish Grand Prix in our Formula College Series, another track that's another European track, kind of similar to Zandvoort, one that'll be a lot of fun. And next time out, the CPC heads to Sebring for our 3rd endurance race of the year. 90 minutes of Sebring on March 21st. We're going to come to you at the same time as we did tonight for a double length race, 90 minutes of action, extra points, extra time. It's going to be a really fun enduro from Sebring. So that'll round out our coverage tonight of the College Prototype Challenge and the Dutch Grand Prix. Thank you so much for watching the Collegiate iRacing League. You can always you can always subscribe. I appreciate it. We all do here at the College iRacing League. And yeah, thank you so much for watching tonight. Have a good night.